Okay, so before we start, make sure that you obviously did complete the vocabulary video. If you're in Class Kick, it was probably right above this one. So, again, you will need headphones because you need to be able to hear me. I don't care if you use your own or whatever, that's fine. But again, headphones listening to this, not to music. It's a cool set of beats, don't you think? Alrighty, so the app you should be using is Class Kick, right? So if you're not there, just watching this video on, off YouTube or whatever, that's fine too. But if you're actually doing this in class, you need Class Kick, and then the class code that I'll give you. And if you're already in it, you're good to go. So, a couple things you'll see as you're working. You will see me use pause buttons like this. It says pause, go back to Class Kick, and work the practice problems. So what you'll see me work an example straight out of your book. And then I'll say, okay, pause. And then you're going to go into Class Kick, and you're going to try to work the example that's actually in your book. It's like the quick check, they're called. When you're done, then you come back to the video, and you press play again, and you watch me work that one to make sure you got it right. This is another one I use for pause. Same thing, says the same thing. I just thought it would be fun to, mix it up a little bit. You will also see me use continue for more examples. So after you've paused and after you've worked one, you'll continue on to the next example from me. Just keep playing. So these are kind of things to help be clues for you so you know what's going on, where you're at in the video, so you don't lose track. Now this example is, as I said, straight out of your book, so there's no need for you to get your book out unless you want it out. I mean, I have no problem if you like to read the book too, but whatever. Okay, so the first example that's going to be related to today's homework is graphing on a number line. 3 friends score a -1, a 4, and a -5 in a game of miniature golf. Compare the scores and order them from least to greatest. Okay, so you're going to make a number line like this. So draw a number line. And you place them on there. And this is something I know you did last year. So -1 is going to go here just to the left of 0. Remember your negatives go -1, -2, -3, -4. It's forever and ever, right? So 1 to the left of 0 right there. -5 is 5 units left of 0, so again it's negative, so it's going left of 0. And 4 is 4 units to the right of 0, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And as a reminder, -7 is the left of -1, so things that are farther to the left are smaller. So -5 is the smallest, -1 is the next biggest, and then the largest of these 3 numbers is the number 4. So from least to greatest, there are -5, -1, and 4. So here's where I said you're going to pause this video. You'll go back to the Class Kick program, so double tap your home screen, your home button there, and work one that I've already copied into there from your book. Okay, so if you're at this point in the video, you should have already worked this on your own paper from the book. So, quick check. Graphing 0, 2, and -6, compare them on a number line and order them smallest to biggest. So again, making a number line here. And as we can see here, there's 0. So there's -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -6, 1 and 2. So there's our 3 that we had to graph. And smallest to biggest, going from left to right, always on a number line, -6, 0, and 2. That's what you should have written out. So here, just continue on, and I'll work another example out of the book for you. Alrighty, so finding absolute value. Use a number line to find the absolute value of -3 and 3. If you remember, absolute value is a positive number because it is distance, and this was in your vocab. It is distance. What it really says, how far is this number from 0? So here we can see that -3 is 1, 2, 3 spaces from 0. Therefore, we say the absolute value of -3 is 3. And then we can also see 1, 2, 3. The number 3 is 3 spaces from 0. So the absolute value of the number 3 is 3. So in this case, remember these are opposites too. I think it was a word we had in your vocab, right? That these two numbers, -3 and +3 in this case, are opposites. So again, another place you're going to pause this video, go back into the application, Class Kick, and work the example I have for you there. And I remember I am watching on my screen too. So that's pretty important to remember. I am always watching. Alrighty, so on here, it says write the absolute value of -10 in words, then find the absolute value of -10. So, again, you're going to write out the words, the absolute value of -10. You could write down is 10 if you like. because it's asking how far is the number negative 10 from 0 on the number line. Well, it's 10 spaces. It's distance. Distance is negative, not positive or negative. You don't go, oh, I'm going to drive west, so it's negative. I'm going to drive east, so it's positive. You don't do that. That's not a thing. Keep watching this video. I'm going to work another example for you. Alrighty, so here we're getting down to it. Going to work an example. So it's to simplify this expression, and it's 14 minus the absolute value of negative, or 9 rather, plus 4. Now, as I stated in the last screen, we treat absolute value symbols like magic parentheses, right? Magic grouping symbols. So this negative sign will be applied after I work the inside. And I'm going to work that so you can kind of see what they're doing here. So we'll start out with 14 minus the absolute value of 9 plus 4. Well, I like to work them in a straight line going down. And you do have to show all work in my class. I'm sure you had to do it last year. Just keep on doing that. 'Cause it's more about the work and knowing that you know how to do it than the answer. So inside, we have 9 plus 4 is 13. So now what I really have is 14 minus the absolute value of 13. Well, 14 minus the absolute value of 13 happens to be 13 because 13 is 13 spaces from 0. I know that's weird, right? Then 14 minus 13 is the number 1. So one line at a time, working one thing at a time, no need to get it all boggled up in your head. So go ahead and pause here, head back into Class Kick, work the one I have set up for you, and then come back and check it here. Now in this case, this means 5 times, because remember if we wrote like parentheses, so if I had something like 4 times 3, right, that's multiplication. That's not the problem we're doing, but so remember that's really what we're looking at here is multiplication in this case. So here we have 5 times the absolute value of negative 4. So one thing at a time. It's not 5 times negative 4. It is 5 times the absolute value of negative 4. Now the absolute value of negative 4 is 4, and I'm going to bring that out as 5 times 4. Notice I got rid of the absolute value sign because the absolute value of negative 4 is positive 4. If you look straight down, it's positive 4. And 5 times 4 is the number 20. That's your answer. It's always a good idea to circle it in your paper too, that way you can find it. So, alrighty, well, that's the end of my lessons for today. You have a little bit of homework. If you go into Class Kick, you'll be able to see what that homework is. And I also provide the answer key, so if you get done early, you can check everything. So there you have it, your first lesson.